Hi guys, myself Poonam Pulwani and I am a faculty of Aksh Academy dealing here with the internal security portion of the UPSC mains GS paper 3. Now here I will be telling you how to approach this subject, how to score a good marks in GS paper 3 with the help of internal security. For this I would like to explain you the syllabus first given by the UPSC. Let's move further. For the basics of the internal security, you need to understand the importance of this subject in the UPSC, as it is the paper placed in the GS paper 3 of UPSC with total marks of 250, out of which around 20 to 25% weightage has been given to the internal security subject. And if you go for the marks distribution and the question numbers distribution, then you'll find that around 4 to 5 questions each year has been asked from the internal security in paper 3, and around the marks distribution is around 50 to 65 marks has been given to the internal security. So if you want to score a good marks in GS paper 3, you will need to give equal importance to this subject as you give to the science and technology, because if you compare these two papers in the trend analysis of last year papers, you will find that science and technology and internal security has around equal weightage in the paper 3. So if you are focusing internal security, I would suggest to focus this because it has a very small syllabus from which you can get a large output. If 20 to 25% weightage is given to this subject, it becomes important. And as it is a new subject, there is nothing much to read about it. So please do focus on the GS paper 3's portion internal security to score a good marks in the entire paper GS 3 of UPSC. For this, understand what is the syllabus of this subject first. You will find this is the syllabus given by the UPSC in the 5 topics, you can say, or in the 5 sentences. The first one is linkages between development and spread of extremism. Here you can find development and extremism as red colored because these are the keywords in this sentence. And the other is the role of external state and non-state actors in creating challenges to internal security, where external state and non-state actors are the keywords. The third sentence is challenges to internal security through communication networks, role of media and social networking sites in internal security challenges, basics of cyber security, money laundering and its prevention. The next is security challenges and their management in border areas and linkages of organized crime with terrorism. Now the last sentence given is various security forces and agencies and their mandate. So this is the syllabus given by the UPSC. Now see here some few of those words I have highlighted these few words, they are in the red color because these are the keywords you can find in the syllabus. You have to focus these keywords for covering this subject, as the questions, as the trend analysis of the question says that the questions were in 2013 directly asked from these keywords, and in 2014 the questions were from these keywords linked to the current affairs of that year, and same as in 2015 we can find a trend that with the help of these keywords the questions were from the current affairs. So basically you need to know what are these keywords and you know how to link these keywords with the current affairs. This is the simple approach for the internal security. Now see what are the sources you need to refer. Before the sources, I would like to tell you the paper analysis of past 3 years. As you can see the 2013 paper, you will find that there were total 5 questions, each of 10 marks, and the total marks distribution was of 50 marks out of 250 to the internal security. And the questions were, as I told you, from the keywords only. There were 5 questions. First was on money laundering. Next was on social networking sites, cyber warfare, left-wing extremism, border management. These were the keywords and the questions were from this directly. In 2014, if you go for a trend analysis, then there were total 5 questions, 12.5 marks of each question, and total 62.5 marks questions were there from this subject. And you can find the questions were from radicalization, airspace, trans-border migration, maritime security and China-Pakistan economic corridor. You will see that in 2014 current affairs, these 5 was in the news. That is why the questions were asked from these topics. And same, the 2015 trend says that there were total 4 questions, each of 12.5 marks, Total of 50 marks questions were there from this subject, and the questions were based on first AFSPA, second ISIS, third left-wing extremism, and the fourth one was from National Cyber Security Policy. Again, these four were in the news. This was the reason why these questions were asked by the UPSC. So from this analysis you can find that what is the approach taken by the UPSC to draft its questions, and the same approach you have to adopt for the preparation of this subject. So first see what are the sources. For the sources I would tell you, first one is the class 12th NCERT, that is Contemporary World Politics. The entire book is not required. Only chapters 7 and 8 is relevant for this subject. So just go through these two chapters thoroughly and understand the basics of these keywords or basics of the introduction, the basics of the internal security. What are the challenges? What are the factors challenging internal security of the country? What are the threats? And how we are fighting them. These two chapters will give you an introduction of these things. So go through this. And then after you have to move to the internet. Internet is the best source for preparing this subject, as in the market no single book is available for the internal security which can give you everything at a single platform. So please do refer internet for these syllabus. To cover this syllabus, you can find the next thing is current affairs, where you can see the Hindu or Indian Express, Yojana and PIB. You can go for any of these papers, the Hindu either or Indian Express. Not the 2 or 3 papers are required, just a single paper is required. Either go for the Hindu or for the Indian Express. I would suggest for the Hindu because I think the Hindu is better than Indian Express, so just go for it. And again for Yojana, you can find Yojana also useful, and PIB. As in the PIB you will find every event, everything what is happening in the government has been published here. So PIB will be helpful for this. And the last one will be the annual report of MHA. Again, entire report is not relevant here. You have to only do a selective study from this report, which will be as per the syllabus of the UPSC. Whatever is relevant to the syllabus, just go through these parts in this report, and not the entire report is relevant. So just do a selective study from this report. Now, how to approach? See, the broad areas of the syllabus, I have divided these into the 4 broad areas. The first one will be your introduction part of the national security. The second broad area will be your factors challenging the internal security, where you will find the various factors like terrorism, extremism, cybercrime, money laundering and organized crime. Apart from this, you can also put here the communalism, separatism, regionalism. All these things are the factors challenging the internal security of the country. So these will be the second broad area, and the third broad area will be a security forces, and the last one will be a border management. So in these broad areas, how you have to diverse or extend your knowledge. So see, in the national security portion, you will have to learn the definition, various definitions given by the international agencies and government agencies. Go through it. Find what is the definition of the security. Find what is the definition of the security for India. After that, find what is internal security and external security. What are the linkages between these two terms and what is the difference between these two terms, to study that. After that, go for the dimensions of internal security, where you will find there are 3 dimensions of the internal security. One is preparedness, other is rescue and rehabilitation, third is the long-term solutions. So in preparedness, you have to study how the India is prepared, what is the preparedness of India for fighting these threats of the internal security, and again what are the rescue and rehabilitation options, how we are prepared for the rescue and rehabilitation if any incident happens. So you have to study that also. And after that, you have to see what are the long-term solutions, how we can make a good environment in the country for securing our country with a communal harmony and peace and law and order situation in the country. So this is the way, what are the dimensions of the internal security you have to learn. After that, what are the factors challenging the internal security, which is kept in the second broad area, factor challenges challenging internal security. And in the factor challenging internal security, that is terrorism and all, you have to learn for these each term, like for terrorism, extremism, cybercrime, money laundering, organized crime. You have to study the 5 areas of these things, in which the first will be the history or background. You have to understand what is the history of the terrorism, extremism, how they have taken birth, how they have spread in the country. A brief In a short, you have to prepare a history or background of these threats. Then after, you have to learn what are the causes of these threats, why these are being spread, what are the purpose of these groups, why they are doing this kind of activities, what are their purpose, what are their types, okay, what are their aims. So you have to study this. After that, you have to go for their methods and strategies. What are the methods and strategies adopted by them to fulfill their aim? So you have to study that. And then after, what is the social, economic, political and administrative impact of these threats or these incidents if are happening in the country. So after that, you have to study this also. This is the basic thing. What is the impact of these things? Why we are worrying? Why we have to secure our country? So for that, you need to see the impact of these things. And at last, the way forward, that how you have to deal with this kind of threats. After that, the third area will be security forces. In that portion, you have to study the various security forces deployed in the country. What are their mandate? There are various security forces deployed in the country with a separate mandate of their own. So you have to study all these things with the intelligence agencies. What are they doing? What are the internal and external intelligence agencies? And in that, the next will be the coordination among all these agencies, how they are coordinating, they are working together. And at last, the reforms needed. What are the way forward? What are the reforms where our security forces are lagging behind? So you have to study what are the reforms also, which will be needed in our security forces or in the internal security scenario of the country. And at last, you have to study the border management, and it will be divided into again five broader areas, where the first will be the border disputes. We have to understood first thing is that what are the border disputes with our neighboring countries. Why we are at disputes with them, what are the threats with that borders to us, and after that, various treaties, bilateral agreements, what we have done till now and what we should do. What are the treaties with other countries and other than neighbors also you have to study. Regarding the internal security, that what are the treaties we are having with them, what are the agreements we are having with them to secure our country. After that, what are the laws governing border management, as I would like to tell you that border just not only mean the land border. We have the land border, maritime boundary, we have the airspace, we have the underground boundary. So what are the laws governing all these boundaries? You also need to know that, because various like maritime securities are also governed by the international agencies. So you need to understand what are the international and national agencies and laws governing these borders. After that, you will have to go for the role of external state and non-state actors in threatening the internal security of the country. And at last, you have to again go for the way forward, that how to resolve these disputes. You have to give a redressal mechanism, and the way forward, that how we have to keep peace with our neighboring countries and the entire world, so that we can secure our internal security. Again, these are the basics of this syllabus given by the UPSC. You have to link all these with the current affairs. Whatever is happening in the news, whatever is happening in the country, in the world, you have to correlate these things with that current affairs and have to give a dynamic approach to your study. So do prepare these basic things and be updated with the current affairs, whatever is being happened in the country. Do study that also. This will be a complete approach for the internal security, and if you are doing this, you can surely score a good marks in the GS paper 3 of the UPSC. So thank you guys. I'll be meeting you again with the next session of me. We are Aksh Academy, a venture for spreading sustainable education, committed to provide quality education at sustainable price by eminent professors and scientists of various IITs and reputed universities. And for online test series and study material, please visit us at www.akshacademy.com. Thank you.